How you doing, everyone? It's Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch. Thank you so much if you're watching today. We've had an incredible couple of weeks. Over 220 subscribers now. We can't believe it. James has made a couple of great videos. If you haven't seen those, check out the Fate Extella and Splatoon reviews. He's put a lot of detail into those. And I'm back with a small indie title provided to us by Spring Loaded. So thank you very much for that. It's a game called Ultra Hyperball, and I'm really excited today to talk to you about this one because it's a really cool little party game, and we've had quite a few of those lately. So what's different about this one? Let's get into the review. But before I do that, please hit that thumbs up button, guys, if you like this video. It really helps us out a lot. Leave me a comment down below. I'd love to respond to you about your thoughts on this game or any other game that we've reviewed lately, or any other game that's coming up that you may have seen on our trailer Tuesdays. And last but not least, if you're a new watcher to this channel, please consider subscribing. That will turn into a subscribe button, or at the end of the video you can just hit that subscribe button that will come up again on our logo. We really appreciate it. Let's not waste any more time and let's get into the review of Ultra Hyperball.
Wanna hold you, I just wanna look into your eyes and tell you that I want you. You know you make me feel so alive. Can't stop thinking about you day and night. Love it when you kiss me, love it when we touch. Every time I'm down, yeah, you make me smile. You're the solution.
So let's get into the story. This is about a young man who wants to become a professional Ultra Hyperball player. He's fed up of making noodles in the store, and so he goes off to become this professional Ultra Hyperball player. And when you actually hit the single player campaign, this is where you'll have to traverse through a number of challenges. Now, quick word on the visuals. The visuals are really nice here. This is an indie game after all, but I do like the color palette used. I like the drawings, and I do like how the developer has made this game look. It's very pleasing to the eye. In terms of sound and music, again, it's one of those titles where, you know, the tunes are very retro, but they are very catchy indeed. So I don't want to spend too much time here, because here we're talking about the gameplay, which is the all important on this one. Now, the gameplay involves a very simplistic control method in which you have to press just the one button. And here all you need to do is keep the ball in the air for as long as possible. Now, it's one of those games that's really easy to get into, but it is really difficult to master because it's all about the timing. And if you don't get the timing right, the game is really unforgiving. If you do sort of miss the timing, that's it, you have to start again. It doesn't give you any sort of second chances. However, if you do miss time a few of those jumps, you might get, the ball might still jump up in the air, but it may be a poor hit. You can get like a great hit and then a perfect hit where the ball will go higher in the air. Now, this is what I really like. In this video I've showed you a lot of handheld shots, and the reason I've done this is because the developer has made use of the touch screen on the Nintendo Switch, has also made use of the tilt controls, and also just the normal controls on the Nintendo Switch itself. So I'm going to take you through some of these modes in the single player campaign. The first mode is really quite simple. You need to keep the ball in the air for as long as possible. Now, you might have 10 jumps, and you have to use those 10 jumps to get the ball to your target. The higher you get the ball, the better the medal you will get. If you get it really high, you'll get a gold, silver, bronze, so on and so forth. Now, it is really quite difficult to get the gold medals in this game, that's for sure. So you've done really well if you've actually got a bronze or silver, because it is quite difficult. Now, the second mode can get really intense, because what happens is you have to use a touch screen controls, and you'll be controlling the one player on level 1 to keep the ball in the air. But by the time you get to level 2 and 3, what happens is the game introduces another sort of 2 or 3 players, which means another 2 or 3 balls, and you have to keep these all in the air like a juggling act, all simultaneously. And I tell you, it is really difficult. But I like the fact that the developer has actually used their imagination here and has sought ways to sort of use the Nintendo Switch to its maximum. And that's truer even in sort of mode 3, where you have to use the tilt controls to actually move your player now sort of left and right, while keeping the ball in the air, trying to get it as high as possible without dropping it in the later levels. And then mode 4 is basically where you can actually just use the analog stick to move your player left and right and keep the ball in the air. So again, it's just using everything the Nintendo Switch has, and I really like that because it gives you some variety in the campaign. And it's great that the developer has thought of, you know, people that might just want to play this by themselves. I think that's fantastic. When you get to the last mode called Ultimate, it's basically all based on the tilt control. You have to keep the ball in the air for a certain number of jumps and hitting a target. Now where the game gets interesting is where you can use multiplayer, and the developer again, they've introduced a co-op mode, and it's a variation of all the modes that you have in the single player campaign, but they've also introduced battle mode where you have to try and keep the ball in the air as long as possible and get it as high as possible, and the first person to reach a certain target will win the game. And that can get really interesting when there's 3 or 4 of you actually playing. So I think in terms of, you know, fun, this game definitely offers a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I have to say I did enjoy the game, and I think it's like all of these party games, like the Mambo for example, another one like this, is you get the maximum enjoyment out of these games when you're playing with other people. This brings me on to another thing with these indie games at the moment. It lacks an online mode, it lacks like a scoreboard where you can compete with other people. And in this day and age, you know, a lot of games that are out in the sort of that you can buy now, you have the option to go online and play against other people. That's sadly lacking for me. Most of these indie games are out on the Nintendo eStore at the moment. What you need to consider is whether it's going to offer you value for money and fun. That's what it's all about. And for me, if you're paying around £7 or £8 for an indie game, it's $9.99 in America, then this certainly does that. The fact that the developer has sought different ways to entertain you using all of the Switch's capability has to be absolutely commended. I really enjoyed the fact that I could use touchscreen, or I could play this on the TV with a friend or a couple of friends, and it really elevates the experience when you do play this game with 3 or 4 people. And that's the same of most of these types of party games. It's definitely fun. It's one of those that you can pick up and play for 5 or 10 minutes, and that's great. It's not one of those games that you're going to sort of put loads and loads of hours into, but then that's not this type of game. So for me, it's a solid 7 out of 10. Really enjoyed this one. Just wish there was an online mode and a leaderboard would have been great. I hope you've enjoyed this review, guys, and if you have, please hit that thumbs up button. It means a lot to us and really helps us out. Leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think of this video review, or any other review, or any other game for that matter. I'd love to respond to you. And last but not least, please consider subscribing. My name is Juan Romero from SwitchWatch. I hope you've enjoyed this one. You know what I'm going to say. I'll see you on the next one.
I just wanna hold you. I just wanna look into your eyes and tell you that I want you. You know you make me feel so alive.